actually start. You start.
Let me tell you a little story about how I was raised. Everyday work, everyday pray. God, family, friends, yeah, everybody sins. I win and never quits, and I quit and never wins. Help folks in need, don't fall for greed. A jealous man is weak, so think before you speak. If you love them, let them know. If you hate, let it go. Fans can be fun, but sometimes you need slow. God is all good, the devil is so real. So listen up, y'all, cause this is how I feel. I won't back up, I don't back down. I've been raised up to stand my ground. Take my job, but not my guns. Tax my check till I ain't got none. Except for the good Lord up above. I answer to no one.
Welcome back to another week, another show, the Weekly Rant. Alongside Steve, I'm Jimmy. For the rundown tonight, we'll be talking about the 3-2 Jets.
And the 0-5 Giants.
And there it is. We're also going to cover some Monday Night Football with the Broncos and the Cowboys. Or people call them the Cowgirls like I do.
And we also got those Broncos, Saints, and Chiefs, the last three undefeated teams.
We'll talk about who's going to be the best there, and after that, we'll also be talking about baseball with the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay going at it.
As well as Oakland and Detroit having a hard-fought battle right now in the Motown City.
And in the LDS, we have my beloved Pirates going at it.
And the Dodgers are already soaking up in the pool waiting for the NLCS.
We'll also be touching up a little bit with some hockey. The local teams in action. The Islanders are in action tonight with the Phoenix Coyotes. Later on tonight, the Rangers do have a play. The
Lucky goal last night.
Let it go. It was skilled, it was talented, and it was planned.
And before we get into our rundown today, let's just, for those viewers, if you want to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Jimmys Rants. If you want to look at us on Twitter, twitter.com/Jimmys Rants. And if you want to watch this episode after this episode's over, as well as last week's, go to youtube.com/Jimmys Rants, and this show will be on within a few hours.
And throughout the show, you also can tweet at us. You're just going to do hashtag TWR for the Weekly Rant. This way we can look that up, and throughout the show, we'll take some questions and comments. We'll go over a few things, and if you got something good enough to say, we'll actually talk about it on air.
And sorry about the phone line. We'll have that up next week.
So, we'll get into it here. And we got the Jets and the Falcons, Monday Night Football.
All right.
I don't want to spoil it here, but tonight's rant's going to have a little something to do with the Monday Night Football game. Let's get into it, though. What do you think about that game? You're obviously wearing the Jets jersey. You're loving it. I'm about to take my Giants jersey down in a minute.
Your Giants jersey should have went down 3 weeks ago. But into the Jets,
You picked the Giants last week.
I did pick the Giants, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I last week on the show, I said the Jets were going to get, and my word of the day is going to change this week, creamed.
And what was last week?
Last week was shellacked.
That's right.
This week is creamed. The Jets were going to get creamed by the Falcons. Spread was 10.5, but the Jets came to play. They showed up, and surprisingly, they won. I didn't expect it, and my survivor pick last week was the Falcons, so unfortunately, I'm out of my pools. I learned one thing, though, never pick against the Jets ever again. Damn you, Damien. But they came to play. Geno Smith looked like a veteran quarterback, and you know what? It's just one game. I'm not going to say he's the next coming of Joe Namath or anything else, because, well,
my rant is now going to not be directed at you, but all the other thousands of Jet fans out there.
But Geno Smith, he looked really good. He looked poised. He did not look like the guy who had that butt fumble the week before in Tennessee. His receivers were good. They didn't drop many passes, and the defense was disciplined. Only 6 penalties, although that one at the end of the game could have been devastating. Although that one on Demario Davis on 4th down wasn't the most egregious one. There was 2 guys mugging Tony Gonzalez in the end zone that they should have called instead.
Now, you're talking about most of the good things here. How about the fact that their running backs combined for 70 yards?
I think that's more than David Wilson and Brandon Jacobs combined for.
Well, wait a second. I think the Giants combined with their 2 running backs actually got more than that, so that's good. I like that.
Mike Goodson just came back from his suspension. He had 4 games for getting arrested in New Jersey with a pile of cocaine, weed, whatever. Chris Ivory just got back from injury, so Rex Ryan really didn't know how to use all 3 of them together.
Well, Goodson actually looked good. I think it was his first touch. I think he had a 25-yard run.
Yeah, they did on the Wildcat. The Wildcat needs to go. It's done. Its time has come. It was cool with the Dolphins in 2007 and 2008 with Ronnie Brown at the offense. They drafted The Dolphins drafted Pat White in '09 to get there. That failed. The Jets had it with Brad Smith, and that worked really well. But Bilal Powell cannot run the Wildcat offense. Why? After getting a first down, put Bilal Powell and then put Geno Smith as wide receiver. It's not working. It didn't work with Tebow last year, and he was a quarterback.
I was going to say, you might as well bring him in now, too. Let's just mix things right up.
Tebow won't even play for Russia. But, the running back situation, it's the least. Kellen Winslow looks really good for the Jets. He was a great signing for them. The offensive line looked like a strong force last night. No more Vlad Dukas, who they benched and put in the rookie Brian Winters. And their defensive line with Wilkerson, Snacks Harrison, Richardson, Copels, they made Matty Ice tonight miserable.
Thank you. You're finally mentioning the Falcons here. Okay, so Matty Ice now, I will tell you this much. Last night, everybody says, oh, yeah, the Falcons going 1-3 now. They're 1-4. They're not so great after all. Matty Ice, in reference to the Jets' defense, he had a career best, 36 completions. That's something to be really proud about for him, especially that it was at home in the Dome, which is arguably one of the loudest stadiums in the league. The problem now is that now they lost Julio Jones. That's going to be really, really, really bad for them, especially a lot of you fantasy football players out there. He is the top receiver in the NFL, both in receiving yards and in receptions. So especially if you're in a PPR league, it's going to hurt. There's no other way around it. It's going to hurt you for sure.
Yeah, and I'm thankful I drafted Roddy White this year.
Oh, are you?
But the thing about Matty Ice is, he did have 36 completions, but it was dink and dunk. He kept having to check off. The Jets cornerbacks last night, Cromartie and Darren Walls, who actually was a Falcons practice squad player last year, had a great game against these running receivers. And yes, 36 receptions, Matt Ryan's going to go home saying, you know what, I lost the game. He doesn't care about those 36 receptions. He wants to be a winner. And last night, him and his team were losers. It wasn't really Matty Ice's fault. It really does boil down to the defense, who could not stop the Jets' offense when it really came to the end. But really, the most egregious parts was Mike Smith. Again, I ranted about him last week, and I'm going to do it again. He cost his team the victory. At the end of the first half, he didn't kick the field goal. He had that opportunity twice on fourth down around the 2 or 3 yard line just around halftime. And then he did it again, and he continues to do it again and again and again. Aggressiveness works out sometimes. But, just because it happens once doesn't mean it's the smart play.
Now, Tony Gonzalez, the guy's been in the league since the Stone Age, and he continues to perform above and beyond every year, every game. Even still, he went for 10 receptions, just about 100 yards. I believe he topped out at 94 yards. Without a touchdown, that's kind of rare for him. He definitely is Matty Ice's second favorite player, obviously, opposed to Julio Jones. I think they're actually still, although they're 1-4, the Falcons, they're still a good team. They really are. They got a lot of injuries. Steven Jackson out. You still got Roddy White who's injured. Julio Jones now is out arguably for the rest of the season. They said that it's an undisclosed foot injury. Obviously, that'll be released sometime this week. They'll tell you what's going on with that. But I believe they're still going to finish right about 500.
Yeah, and in the NFC, that may get them to the playoffs. Outside the Saints and Seahawks, and we'll say 49ers and Packers, there are some teams there are some spots. I mean, the NFC East, unfortunately, has to have a playoff spot. And there's one spot left at the Falcons. If they can get on a run, they still have some easy teams they can face there. So it's all not said and done for the Atlanta Falcons this year. Moving on to another NFC team, we got the New York Giants. I know I was a big proponent of them winning. I think my partner to my left said they were going to lose, and well, he was right.
Yeah, they lost. They didn't show up yet again. I was actually listening to the game on the radio, and when I finally caught it, it looked like they were starting to make a game out of it. And then they decided to quit like they've done every single game. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say anymore. The Giants, they're going to go 0-6. That's a given. I don't see them going into Soldier Field on short rest. Cutler's going to light their secondary up.
He's my number one waiver claimant every single fantasy league.
I actually just picked Cutler up as well. And for those of you who are actually out there watching it in my fantasy league, if you do go against me and take Cutler because of the whole waiver claim, you're done. Okay? That's it, plain and simple. I don't want that to come off like a threat. So the Giants now, yeah, they are going 0-5. That's not good. Eli. Eli, again, this is actually kind of tough because a lot of the problems actually have been coming with the play calling. Eli says the other day, I think he actually said that he is seeing the defense great. He absolutely is. I can't argue that.
He said he was playing well.
He's playing well. He's throwing it right to the defense, so he's right. Accurate. Well, when you're saying you're seeing the defense well and you're saying you're accurate, that's all your interceptions right there.
You know, in college, I played pool basketball with the quarterback for the Maryland Terrapins, and he was accurate too, except I wasn't on his team and he kept throwing me the ball. So, you know, it's the same thing.
So you were the up-and-coming Revis, I guess.
I guess I was. But, you know, Eli Manning, the stats that trouble me, yeah, he threw for 334 and 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 picks. But what's even more troubling was the 3 intentional grounding penalties that he had.
That was terrible. That is the worst thing. I mean, he's a seasoned veteran. You don't make plays like that. There's nothing about just don't make plays like that, plain and simple. You're not... Take a conversation. You're not Geno Smith. You're not someone who has 4 games under their belt who's going to freak out under pressure and say, I don't know what to do with it, and just gun it down the field where there are no receivers in sight. That's not going to happen. Eli's doing that. Again, just like I said last week, Eli is playing so far this season exactly how I said I see him all the time. I don't think he's that great. I think he's very overrated. You're going to bring in the Super Bowl rings, the MVPs. I understand that. This is the Eli you're going to get basically from here on out if they don't do anything about the situation they have at hand.
Do you think Eli Manning's turning into a pumpkin? Do you think his time is up? Do you think Teddy Brightwater is on the Giants' horizon next year?
I will tell you this much right now. As disgraced as I am, as disgraced as a lot of other Giants fans are, I honestly feel no one in the Giants organization should lose their job. I really feel this way. You got to give Coughlin some time, give him another season. Everybody is going to be fine. They will turn it around. You're looking at your championships with the Giants, 86, 90, 2007, and 11, or 10, right? What was 2011?
11.
You know, there's been success. They're the only franchise to win a Super Bowl consecutive decades. We haven't. We haven't experienced a situation like this going 0-5. The last time they went 0-4 was 1986. 87. I believe that Parcells is their coach. It's tough for Giants fans to comprehend. We're going to get through it. Plain and simple. We're going to get through this one. I have hope.
This year.
However, I gotta do something here. This is my Giants Super Bowl jersey. We're gonna have to replace that.
Is that the guy who shot himself in the leg?
We're gonna also move past that comment. And there's a lot of hockey jerseys up here. As you can see, we're putting the Kings up here.
Is that a John Quick jersey?
No, it's not a Quick jersey, but it's quickly coming down off the wall because the Rangers just got their first win the other night.
Lucky.
Shut up. They got their first win the other night against the Los Angeles Kings. We'll get to hockey later, though. There's been a lot going on.
Let's go to probably what was the game of the week in the Broncos-Cowboys. That 4:25 game on Sunday afternoon was a classic.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
What happened?
Oh, really? So
I don't know what happened.
Peyton Manning, Tony Romo went to a all-time offensive slugfest, 51-48 final, in which, guess what? Tony Romo threw a pick.
Oh, there it is. Again. That's all they're going to remember him for. This game, that's all they're not going to say, hey, that was a 99-point game. That was when Romo threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. But that was the game that he threw a pick with a minute left in the red zone. In his own red zone, rather.
You know, Tony Romo looked incredible. He really did. That game was exciting. I didn't want to leave my seat. I was sitting at dinner, and we finished a while ago, and I was just like, we're not leaving until this game ends. But, you know, when he threw that pick, it's just, you just look back at Tony Romo's career. That playoff game when he couldn't hold the field goal try, and he got sacked, and that's how they lost the game against the Seahawks. Or just that pick. He just does it over and over and over. He's a choke artist, and he's a great quarterback, but he can never be that quarterback that will take you to the next level. He will never be the Ben Roethlisberger, the Aaron Rodgers, the Drew Brees, the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady.
Eli Manning.
No. Not Mark Sanchez, sorry. But Tony Romo will never be that guy. He will never lead the Cowboys to the promised land like Troy Aikman did. Roger Staubach. He won't be one of those quarterbacks. He just can't do it.
He's performed well throughout his career with Dallas. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to stay a cowgirl the rest of his life. You look at him that's the quarterback you want on your fantasy football team.
He's on
You
mine.
know? And you know what? That's the only conversation to have about Tony Romo. He's a great fantasy football quarterback. He's the best one there ever was and ever will be. The guy consistently throws great numbers for you. The only problem is he's not going to throw you into the playoffs. I believe he had one playoff appearance his entire career so far.
I think he got two. I think he got two. That first one was the Seahawks loss when he
Right.
didn't hold extra. I think he had one since. But either way,
Yeah.
he's just not going to be that guy. And I mean, Des Bryant had a great game. Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, the receivers. Jason Witten also had an incredible game for the Cowboys. Those stats were there, but just when it came to, it just didn't.
Well, Terrence Williams, their rookie, right out of
Yeah.
Baylor. And the guy went for 4 receptions and about 150 yards. He's definitely fitting into their system like he's been there, like a seasoned veteran. And Des Bryant, go figure. Tony Romo, they hook up all the time. They love each other, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to score points for their teams and also for your fantasy teams out there. I mention fantasy a lot just because with the Dallas Cowboys, you know they're going to put up a lot of numbers. And you know with Tony Romo, like I said, he's the best fantasy football quarterback there is out there.
And, the Broncos had a great game as well. Peyton Manning had another 4 touchdowns. I mean, I think they're on pace for 75 touchdowns this year, which would eclipse the record.
And he finally threw an interception.
Yes, he did.
Does that mean he's human?
No, because that bootleg was incredible.
Yes, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
First bootleg touchdown for Peyton Manning in about 5-6 years, and it wasn't. No one was anywhere near him.
But again, he's throwing, and it's to prove more the point that he's not human. 400 yards again and again and again. He's having a field day out there.
But again, let's look at the defenses he's playing: the Cowgirls, the G-Men, the Eagles.
That's true.
He's not
last week. Yeah,
he's
true.
not playing these world-class defenses like the Saints. And in a few minutes we'll talk about the Saints, but their defense is improved. We're not talking about throwing to cornerbacks like the Dolphins have, or you know what? I'm gonna say it. Even the Jets. The Jets have a good defense.
They do.
So, and I can even say that without making a joke. First time doing that today.
But now, when Manning is playing these teams, though, and you mentioned the bad defenses, mediocre defenses, do you think that's hurting him right now? Or do you think if he's performing this well, is that almost not going to act as practice for when he goes up and competes against these additional other top-notch teams?
This is practice. He gets to play Jacksonville next week. I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Osweiler is playing in the fourth quarter. I mean, this next game is a scrimmage. Forget about it. It's gonna just put a win on the scoreboard for Denver now and just call it a day if you were Jacksonville. Spread's 28 points. Largest spread in, I don't know, like
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
It's got to be ever. It really does.
The next closest spread was 24. It was Patriots, and I'm forgetting the other team, but they didn't cover. They won by a touchdown, but 28 points. Part of me even wants to bet that for the Broncos.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about defenses and offenses. We're bringing football into play here, talking about it a lot, especially Cowgirls. I got to tell you this one thing. Here in New York, there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there. There's a lot of them. And every year, I can't tell you how much I hate it. Oh, this is our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's one thing to hear that from, the Giants because they've been there already, or the Patriots, or, the Saints. It's one thing to hear from them. But when you're hearing it from a Cowboys fan, it gets so old, where this is our year, blah, blah, blah. Enough is enough. I mean, the hype it's just not there anymore. If you want to call it America's team, guess what? The way the government's going right now, I think they really are the idol of, or the splitting image of America's team and the government, and it's just, I can't stand the Cowboys. It's old. It's enough. With that being said, let's get off the Cowboys already.
You did like Brokeback Mountain, didn't you?
Wow, you went there. That's false.
Let's talk about the undefeated teams. There's 3 left. 2 of them left the unbeaten ranks over this last week, with New England losing 13-6 to Cincinnati, and Seattle losing in a tough one to the Colts. A great game over there. But there's 3 left. We got the Broncos, which we just spoke about. We have the New Orleans Saints, and surprisingly, the Kansas City Chiefs, all at 5-0. Jimmy, who do you think's the best of our 3, and who's going to be the last one to remain undefeated?
I think it goes without saying, all the attention right now is all on Peyton Manning. With the weapons that he has, especially acquiring Wes Welker, the way he's hooking up with him every single game, I got to say the Broncos. Their defense obviously has its ups and downs. Clearly, they just let up 48 points, but it's because of Peyton Manning. They're able to throw up 51 points and say, let's just go for the win now.
I love the Broncos. I think they're a great team, but in the scheme of things, what the Saints are putting up is incredible. Their defense under Rob Ryan, not Rex, but Rob, has really changed the structure of this Saints team, making it a lot less about their high potent offense and more on a more balanced team. They took a 26-10 lead against the Bears on Sunday, and they just coasted for the last half. And they won 26-18, in which they really didn't have to try that much because their defense was really keeping them in there the entire way through. They have a great line, great cornerbacks, and, I was afraid of the next week for the Saints because they're playing New England. But after watching New England lose not well to Cincinnati, and that was just an awful game. Tom Brady didn't even break 200 yards.
What he did break was his 52-game streak of throwing
a
touchdown pass.
About time. But I can't help but give a little bit of credit to what the Chiefs are doing this year. It's not easy going from the worst team in the NFL to already almost tripling the amount of wins they had from the season before.
And they're trying to play under a new system with Andy Reid as their coach now.
But Andy Reid's a great coach.
Absolutely, he is.
But
you're coming in with a new coach. It's like with any other sport. The difference is, with football, there's 53 guys you need to teach a new system to with new coaching staff coming in. And the way they're adapting to him, it's unbelievable. They are known as, aside from the Dome down in Atlanta, they are known as one of the loudest stadiums around. Alex Smith is even playing like they wanted him to play, and they thought he would play the rest of his career in San Francisco. And that's when Colin Kaepernick came by, which is also what screwed me over last year in fantasy football. But it's tough to not say Kansas City is the best of the 3.
Yeah, and speaking of Kaepernick, he does not look impressive. You think that San Fran were getting that trade now?
Big time. But I really do feel the Broncos are the best of the two teams. We're going to leave Kansas City out of it because he is right. If I'm not going to take the Broncos, I will say the Saints. You talked about Decker. You have Welker. You have Thomas. The weapons that surround him. Again, he can just close his eyes and throw the ball up in the air, and it's going to be a completion. Again, the guy throws for almost 400 yards, if not more, every single game. He has 20-1 from touchdowns to interceptions. It's career best. He's breaking NFL records right now. It's really hard to say not the Broncos being the best team in the NFL right now.
But again, the Saints have Lance Moore, Marcus Colston. They have the best tight end in all of sports in Jimmy Graham. They got some good running backs in Pierre Thomas.
Is that Jimmy Rants or Jimmy Graham?
Jimmy Graham. Oh. Sorry, not everything's about you. But they have Darren Sproles and Pierre Thomas in the backfield. They have a really good team, a really good offensive line. And, everything about the Broncos is true. But the Saints have played these tough teams and beat them all so far.
They have. And Drew Brees, again, just like Peyton Manning, game in, game out. He's going to throw it up. It's going to be a great game by Drew Brees. Touchdowns. Not throwing too many picks this year. That's a great thing. The way they're also coming back with Sean Payton it's also unbelievable. That's almost saying the same thing as Kansas City with Andy Reid. I mean, Sean Payton is now back with his coaching staff. And like you said, he also brought in Rob Ryan. They're playing really well under the rejuvenated coaching system.
And no more bounties, no more cheap shots. They're playing for real. They got it going. They got a good system down.
That's true.
But we spent a lot of time on football. There's still some exciting stuff going on in the baseball playoffs. Mm-hmm. Let's first head out to I guess
Boston and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I like that.
And I believe they're playing right now, are they not?
I believe they are. Detroit Oakland was starting already. I think Boston Bay started around. Actually, it's about to start in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Now I do have last week's notes here. As far as baseball goes, here we go. Baseball. I have.
You at Cleveland.
There it is.
You're at Cleveland.
Let's move along now to Boston, Tampa Bay.
And, if we rewind, I think I said last week that Cleveland storybook run was going to end Tampa
Yeah,
Bay in the
yeah.
wild card game.
You did say that, and I also did say if Jacksonville did not win over the Rams, I would not appear on this week's episode.
And unfortunately for all of us, he's here. No, I'm kidding.
How are you?
We are much happy that Jimmy's Rants.
I have more radio face than a TV face. I could have done this show from sitting on the couch over there.
Don't listen to that. Okay, that's not true. But Boston Tampa Bay last night's game was probably one of the best ones we're going to see in the postseason today. Longoria hitting a 3-run homer to tie the game up, Rodney blowing a save, and then Jose Lobaton. Yeah, Islanders scored 5 seconds ago too, so it's 3-1. Jose Lobaton coming off the bench to hit a walk-off home run the bottom of the ninth into the aquarium in right center field. The first time that anyone has ever hit a home run into that aquarium. Joe Madden is making moves to try and save his team, and so far it's working.
Did you hear the call?
I did. I heard the call.
That was a phenomenal call. I'm bringing phenomenal back into this episode again.
It was a great call. And just before I forget, to those who answered the trivia question on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Jimmy Rants, the correct answer is Jimmy has a 60-inch screen TV.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No, I am not. But Jake Peavy goes tonight in Game 4 against Matt Moore. And speaking of the Tampa Bay series, David Price went on a rampage after losing Game 2, calling all the media guys a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
Do you think he pitched his last game in Tampa?
No.
You don't?
No, I honestly don't. They're not going to go anywhere without him. All you're going to really have is Longoria. They need the pitching staff. They do have a lot of young guys in their system right now, but Price is he's the heart of that organization as far as the pitching staff goes. He's that one solid ace you're going to get a great game from every single game. And being Tampa Bay as good as they've been lately, especially now having Houston coming over, guess what? He might have his first no-no. Gotta look into that. Tampa wants that, of course.
Absolutely. The Mets waited 50 years, 50 years to get their first no-no. So
that's so questionable.
That
was a fair ball.
You know what though? But R.A. Dickey should have gotten a no-hitter the week after, so it's okay. It all balances itself out.
Yeah.
But speaking of Boston, let's go into Oakland. Let's talk about the Oakland-Detroit game. Right now, at last time we checked, it was 4-4 in the 7th inning. Jim Leland made the unconventional move and did not follow suit to Don Mattingly and let Max Scherzer come out of the bullpen today.
Yeah.
So letting the future Cy Young Award winner come out of the bullpen in order to let Doug Fister start. Think that's the right move?
Well, I will tell you right now, Max Scherzer, he's young. He's got a great arm on him. If he's got to come out that way, you know what? He'll be successful. I really don't think that's going to hurt them at all because, you know what? You still have Verlander. Okay? He's going to go. He's fine with going on short rest. We've all seen it before. So if you've got to rest Scherzer for another game or two because of that, well, you know what? They're playing against right now Detroit, and they're going to play the winner of they're playing against Oakland. They're going to play the winner of Boston, Tampa Bay, depending on what happens there because Oakland is up right now 2-1. But should they come back, I think they'll be okay with that.
I think Oakland pulls through the series either way. Oakland has been the better team throughout. And I know my buddy Nick is loving the Oakland Athletics run right now. He's been bragging about them every single day. In fact, I actually had someone IM me what's going to happen if Oakland wins the World Series. What is he going to loot? So,
I also, if this is the way it goes, I'll be also losing again because I do have Detroit in the World Series against the Dodgers. If Oakland goes, though, I'm not going to lie. Those were my picks. They're terrible. Again, I had no proof behind that, no stats behind that. I just went by heart. And if Oakland gets past this round, I'm probably going to root for them because it'd be nice to see that Moneyball-style movie really come to life and just see it play itself out again here in 2013. I would love to see that. I really would.
You know, they had Jed Lowry hitting third. Jed Lowry couldn't make it on the Houston Astros. He couldn't make it with the Boston Red Sox. Now he's hitting third for the Oakland Athletics. You have Josh Donaldson, who was another failed Astros prospect. He was a catcher, couldn't make it there, and now he's in Oakland. You have a no-name pitching staff. Sonny Gray had an awesome game on Saturday night. Dan Straley, before he blew it today, had 5 no-hit innings. So they have a good pitching staff, and we still haven't even mentioned their bullpen, Grant Balfour, who mixed it up with Victor Martinez yesterday. It's been a fun ALDS so far, but
Well, hang on. I'm sorry. You're talking about staying in the American League, and we're talking about Oakland and their payroll. one of the lowest in the leagues, and kind of steering off a little bit from playoffs to what's happening right now locally with the New York Yankees. Listening to a local radio station today talk about it, they had Hal Steinbrenner on today, and they were trying to get some sort of information out of him on the Robbie Cano situation, how he's asking right now for 10 years and $305 million. I'm a Yankee fan. You're a Met fan. Honestly, do you think he's worth 10 and 300?
No. That's quick. Someone may pay him. I don't think the Dodgers will. I don't think the Yankees will. But, he'll get somewhere in the vicinity of 8 years, probably like 240. He is the best power-hitting second baseman. I know what I said last week. He's a lazy son of a bitch. He doesn't try all the time. He takes plays off. He doesn't hustle. He's a manager's worst nightmare. But he knows how to hit the ball. He knows how to field the ball when he cares. And you know what? I don't think he knows how to run. I don't think the laziness is an excuse.
Yeah.
He just can't. He has no sense on the baseball field, on the baseball base paths.
It's tough to coach someone like that. I mean, when you're hitting so well, you're constantly getting balls that should be doubles, triples. He's hitting the ball out of the park on a bloop single. Do you really think that, or even an infield ball? I mean, is he really going to run that out? Is he really going to care to run that out? No, he says, you know what? I have 3 more at bats this game. Islanders just scored again. Looks like it was Grabner. He's going to says, I got 3 more at bats this game. I'm going to hit one out. It's fine. It's I wouldn't pay him either. I'd pay him a lot of money. I wouldn't go 10 years. The A-Rod contracts are done. I really don't see a lot of those coming around anymore. No one's going to want to spend that much money. They see constantly people now are getting hurt, running to first base. It's always been a problem, tripping over themselves in the field. And, you're always going to be, when you're injury prone, you're always going to be on the wire. And they're going to say, you know what, why do we end up paying this guy so much? Now we can't even trade him. No one's going to want to pick it up anymore. They're not going to want to risk it. Robbie is young. If they give him 10, I think he's going to be 38 after his 10th year. What is he going to do at 38 years old? He will be the next A-Rod. Now, A-Rod, steroid, whole situation. That's probably why he's still in the ball out. I think it's fair enough to say, give Cano 6 to 8 years between the 240 and I agree 260 area.
And just a reminder, if you have any thoughts on this, send us a tweet at Jimmys Rants, #TWR, and I just feel dirty saying hashtag. I think that's the stupidest thing. And if any of you have a chance, go look at Jimmy Fallon's video with Justin Timberlake a few weeks ago about the hashtags, because,
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's great. You really should take a look at it afterwards. They spent the entire conversation talking hashtag this. So hashtag right now I'm watching Jimmy Rants. Hashtag this is awesome. Hashtag this is the best show of my entire life. Hashtag thank you. Moving on. Let's go to the National League.
Let's go to the hashtag National League playoffs. We have the hashtag Pittsburgh Pirates, which I am somehow representing on my shirt here.
It looks like a shirt you got in Little League.
It's a shirt that I wore when I was about 30 pounds lighter. So we do have the Pirates and the St. Louis.
Get new clothing.
So we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're all tied up with the St. Louis Cardinals. They do play tomorrow night, and we do have the Dodgers playing whoever wins that series.
I told you last week the Pirates St. Louis is going to be a great series. Right now we got Game 5 sudden death. It's going to be an incredible game tomorrow night. A.J. Burnett's getting skipped because he got creamed in Game 1. Yes, word of the day is creamed.
There it is.
But going with the rookie Garrett Cole to face Adam Wainwright, it's going to be one hell of a matchup. The Pirates
I think this is actually in St. Louis.
It is in St. Louis.
Yep.
The Pirates have shown that they have heart. They're not backing down. And you know what? They were in position to win yesterday, and they couldn't get past Michael Wacha, who had 7 2/3 no-hit innings, which is the longest for a rookie in his first playoff game ever. Those stats are just great.
If there's one stat that I have right, it is the Pirates going on to play the Dodgers right now. So I'm pulling for that one.
You better hope. I have that.
I'm pulling for that.
I have that too. But you better hope that's the case. It's been one great matchup, and Carlos Beltran, he's just adding to his
16 home runs and 50 some odd at bats.
It's just not fair.
Oh my God! I mean, he's surpassed Babe Ruth numbers for playoffs.
If only Carlos Beltran was able to do this during the regular season, just imagine how great he would. Just to make how much the Hall of Fame would matter to him. It's incredible. It really is something special. And the Dodgers, they
They are what everybody thought they would be this
Yeah.
year. They are. They absolutely are. Excuse me. The Dodgers coming off again. They are on a little bit of a weight here. So what's that going to do? You think that's going to hurt that pitching staff? Do you think that's going to tire them down? They are, really excited. Los Angeles hasn't been in this position for a long time. So what do you think on that? And in the meantime, if anybody has made any comments on Twitter, you can listen to my buddy Steve here and the garbage that he has to say while I check the Twitter account here.
I'll ignore the garbage comments and move forward. With getting that break is great. Clayton Kershaw pitched on 3 days rest from Game 1 to Game 4, and this allows him to get a few more days depending on when the NLCS starts. It may allow them to have Clayton Kershaw go again in Game 1 or Game 2, allowing him to get to almost maybe even 3 starts in the NLCS against the tough Pirates or Cardinals team. Their pitching staff, Rue was all right. Greinke got beat up a little bit in Game 2. It'll be nice to see what happens in the NLCS no matter who they face.
I have no idea how to work this.
We already learned last week you don't know how to do anything. But
No, I have no idea.
Let's continue. There was, in Game 4, Freddie Gonzalez in the 8th inning refused to go to his closer, Craig Kimbrell, allowing Juan Uribe to get the game-winning home run to send the Dodgers into the NLCS. What are your thoughts on Kimbrell not being used in this situation?
I don't care. I honestly do not care. All I'm really looking forward to is the NLCS, and I say that because I really feel my Pirates are going to win. That's really all I can say about that.
Your Pirates.
Yes, my Pirates.
Your Pirates.
As your Islanders score yet again, 5-1 Islanders over the Coyotes right now.
I think it's Grabner again. But we'll get to that in just
grab the remote and put on something else in a minute.
We'll get to that in just a few moments because, quite frankly, the Islanders are the best team in New York right now. But again, we still got some baseball to talk about for a few more seconds. One last thing before we move on. Where's Joe Girardi going to go? I know we tried to touch on it last week, but I heard an interesting rumor after last week's show about Don Mattingly's contract has not been picked up yet.
That's true.
By the Dodgers, which is kind of odd considering he's done a great job for them this year. The rumor I'm hearing is Mattingly coming back to New York and Girardi going to L.A.
Well, that would be almost exactly like what happened in the offseason for the NHL, with Tortorella going to Vancouver and Alain Vigneault from the Vancouver coming over here to New York. One other name, though, however, they're throwing up there is Willie Randolph as well.
And the Yankees?
Yeah, they're talking about having...
Enjoy.
You know what? It's another name to bring out there, and that's coming from you as a Met fan. That's exactly how I feel. What has he done in the last, especially with the Mets when he was with them? I don't want him. I don't care what his history was. I know he played for the Yankees. That's great. The fans will take him in. They'll love him until 20 games into the season, probably. That's all it's going to take. My opinion on Girardi, though, I don't think the Yankees are going to take in Mattingly. I believe he was also a name that was tossed around when the Yankees were initially looking for a manager before Girardi. Girardi's not going anywhere. That's honestly how I feel. Same as last time I said, he's not going to Chicago. I don't think he's going to L.A. There's no reason for him to just get up and leave, move his family. The Steinbrenner family is going to do everything they possibly can at a fair, reasonable price to keep him here, especially with what he's done this year. All the injuries that they had to go up against, typical New York media, and the way the team has just folded and just fell apart this year. And what he still did, finishing 12 games over 500 this year, that really is unbelievable. It's not what a Yankee fan wants to see. It's not what they're used to. If you look at the Steinbrenner family now, the Steinbrenners are more business opposed to championships. That's really what it comes down to now. So they're really just going to try and get Girardi at the price that they feel is reasonable before they decide where else can we get him, send him off if he needs to go somewhere else, before they start looking for other managers to come in.
I do agree with you. I do believe that Girardi will end up with the Yankees. It's just a very interesting scenario to see Donnie Baseball possibly coming back to the Yankees.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I really would. It'd be nice to see him throw that 23 back on.
Yeah, because every other number's retired by the Yankees at this point.
Deservingly so. Deservingly so. Like you said last time, the Mets didn't want to pay for them to retire Piazza's number.
Do you really think guys like Tony Lazzari are really worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you even know who Tony Lazzari
No,
is?
not at all. Not at all.
Right.
I'm glad you pointed that out on air.
Right under the bus. Awesome.
No idea.
It's all right. I don't know who he is either. Just that his number is retired by the Yankees. My point exactly. You think Roger Maris deserves to have his number retired by the Yankees?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Let's just quickly go into hockey. Rangers won their first game last night. Although
Absolutely.
They had
They won their first game.
Probably the luckiest goal in creation last night. If we were able to put clips on, we would show you Ryan McDonough's goal from, I think, how many feet? 80?
It doesn't matter.
I think.
Last I heard,
the
puck went in.
I think the announcer had a John Sterling moment, not even realizing it went in. Oh, it's a fly ball hit deep.
Of his blocker.
It went in. Oh, wow. Ryan McDonough scored a goal.
Well,
wow.
You know what? This is one thing I gotta say as a Ranger fan, though. In all honesty, I turned on the game late last night. I turned it on. It was about the second period. I have not seen the Rangers play that well in a long time. That's called West Coast hockey right there. I mean, it's just east and west, right up the ice. Bring it back. They'll toy around with it a little bit. But the Rangers were quick. They beat the man to the puck. They beat the man to the corners. Beat them to the boards. They were very physical. They got their shots on goal last night. Their power play wasn't too good last night. Brad Richards did have one goal last night. I'm not going to say two because the second goal was garbage, but he did have 2 goals. It's nice to see him getting back on the scoreboard. Callahan did happen to get hurt again last night. It was nice to see him back for a few more minutes, and all of a sudden he gets a stick to the face. You're going to see him tonight play against San Jose.
Will he ever not get hurt? Will he ever stay healthy? Or is this guy...
Callahan has religiously been healthy for the majority of the season, every single year. But can you really complain about it? He's the only guy in the NHL that will hustle for 20 minutes straight in a game that he plays, 22 minutes in a game he's going to play. He's going to hustle. He's going to play the body. He himself leads the league in blocks every single year. He hits the body. He fights. He does everything. He's what I call a junior Ovechkin. He's obviously not going to score as much as Ovechkin, but you know what? He's going to be as physical. He's going to play the body. He's going to play the puck. He's going to play south and north. It's what you want from a captain, nonetheless. I was very happy to see a few years back when he was given the captain position.
What are your thoughts on Alain Vigneault?
Alain Vigneault, it's nice to have him around. What we're looking at now, last year, granted it was a strike-shortened season, he was 23rd in the NHL in power play, and I bring that up first because Ranger fans, you all know that's one thing we want right now to have improvement on is our power play. We can't hit the broadside of the barn. And what happens here with that, you have Vigneault now for, other than last year finishing 23rd in the NHL strike-shortened season on power play, the year before that and before that he was top 5. Going back with Montreal, he was also top 10, top 5 every year. That's both on the penalty kill and the power play. That's something that we're looking for. Tortorella, when he was here, he was more of a defensive-minded coach. That really hurt us more than anything else. We had great defense. The chemistry back there with Stoll and Girardi and McDonough and Delzato, it was great. Delzato, I want him out of here. Either way, the defense that they have back there, I think, is very strong. I like their defense right now. I think with a few games, it's going to be tough to really judge them, especially because they're on the road for, I think, about 9 straight games. Mm-hmm. So it really is going to be tough to judge them. You're going to want to say, oh, I'm sick and tired of this garbage. They're doing this wrong. They're doing that wrong. They're on the road. They don't encounter a lot of Ranger fans. They don't hear their fans. They don't hear their chants. With the 3rd year of construction going on at the Garden now, give them a chance on the road. It's a tough schedule. Let them come back. Let them play their few games at home. You're under new management, new staff, new coaching, everything. Not the management, but everything new. It's a whole new system. You got to give it some time. With these new divisions, having Columbus on a division, I kind of like that too.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Islanders on Saturday night in the shootout, but it's fun. It's the Metropolitan Division, which is probably the worst name in all of sports.
Yeah.
It's a very good division. You got potential to have 5 of the 8 playoff teams coming out of the Metropolitan. Right. They have a very good division. Speaking of another good team there, we got the New York Islanders, who right now are winning 5-1 in the second at the conclusion of the second period tonight. JT got his first goal. Grabner got his 3rd. They're looking pretty good so far. They had that lead against Columbus on Saturday night, and they blew that one. They lost in a shootout. They beat Brodeur on Friday night. They've been looking good so far, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do following up on last year.
Well, like I said, the Islanders are going to be better than the Rangers. I don't think that's any question. I think they really will be better. They're younger. They're faster. It hurts me to say that I also feel they're more talented. The Rangers do have their talented players. We know that. But the Islanders with the young guns, they're fast. They're quick. They're not going to stop. They're going to hustle. They're going to beat the teams down. And I really feel that they can even contend for top 2 seeds right now in the Metropolitan Division. See where that puts them at the end of the year. But it's also tough to judge the Islanders now. The Islanders constantly battling for a last place seed every single year. You have your expectations this year, especially after what they did last year in the strike-shortened season. But that's my point. It's a strike-shortened season. What's Nabokov really going to do for you now that he's playing an entire season? Is Poulin going to start playing more? Can you really rely on him as a great backup? He didn't really prove to be that good last year.
He didn't, but they kind of threw him in. He barely played during the regular season, and his first real bouts of action was in the playoffs against the Penguins. That doesn't seem very smart of Jack Capuano. Now, granted, when Jack Capuano was hired replacing Scott Gordon in 2009, I never expected him to finish out the season, let alone still be here as the second winningest Islanders coach to date. It's been pretty incredible for what he's done, considering he looks like Mr. Magoo on the sidelines half the time. But his coaching staff with Doug Waite coaching the offense and Brent Thompson, the AHL Sound Tigers former coach who won Coach of the Year down in the AHL in 2011, they coaching the defense and penalty kill. They've really been an exceptional group. Their power play looks strong. Their penalty kill looks great. And Nabokov will get them as far as they need him to. But the offense, 5 goals right now on Mike Smith, who's a pretty good goaltender for the Phoenix Coyotes. They did pretty well against the
Rangers. Mike Smith was on his head. I don't know if any of you really have caught that game. That game was a late game on Friday night. I've never seen Mike Smith play so well in my life. And I actually saw Mike Smith play a handful of times down in Tampa Bay. I saw Lightning games all the time. Beautiful stadium down there. It used to be called the St. Pete Times Forum. I believe it's just called the St. Pete Forum now. Whatever the case may be. I saw Mike Smith play down there a few times. And it was nice to see him up and coming. Now he's with Phoenix. He's something else. He really is. He's an all-star contending goaltender. I believe they're talking about actually having him possibly on the Olympic team as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But the Islanders made him look like, I don't know, you and that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome.
I couldn't play goalie.
If I played against an NHL team.
Yes. It's kind of like the South Park episode. You ever see that one?
No.
In which the little kids face Detroit Red Wings.
I did not see that.
Did not go over too well.
I might YouTube that
It was
later.
kind of a spoof on the Mighty Ducks and all the sports movies, and Stan coached the Pee Wee hockey team, and they got to play it was Colorado Avalanche.
Okay.
The Colorado Avalanche. It was amazing.
And they got their asses handed.
Oh, they all died.
Speaking of dying, I think that's what's going to happen to the Giants this week. Moving along to Thursday Night Football. We're going to move off of hockey. The Giants, actually, the Littles playing the Bears this week on Thursday, should I say.
I get that. Littles.
Okay, good. Yeah. Anyways, if we could focus this camera on me right now, only that'd be nice. Because he's wearing the Jets jersey, and the Jets are playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's first talk about the Littles game.
I was working on the Jets. I thought I was going somewhere with that.
You tried hard. It didn't quite work. I know. Giants Bears. You know what? Soldier Field Thursday night. Short rest for both of them. Giants didn't look that good. No.
They haven't looked that good all season.
Bears didn't really look that good. It's
That's true.
it's all the same. It's Jay Cutler is Jay Cutler. If Prince Amukamara, the Black Tim Tebow, can pick off a Cutler pass or two, which Cutler's been known to do in his career. I think he's Tony Romo of the North. The Giants could possibly...
Oh, Cutler also had a fumble this week.
Yes, he did.
So
the Giants could potentially steal it. It's not going to happen, but they could potentially do it. Hakeem Nicks had a great game last week. We didn't talk about that. So did River Randall. 6 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hakeem Nicks, 9 catches for 143 yards.
the problem with that is that Eli threw for over 50 passes. He targeted those guys a lot more than those catches. It's unbelievable how they're still dropping the ball when they should not be dropping the ball. Wide open passes, being hit in the number, not running the routes entirely. Still, I got to put the blame on Eli, though. I'm not going to lie. I really do feel I as much as I hate them, I don't want to play a bias on my own team here in any way. I still feel a lot of it had to do with Eli, though.
I agree. Those 3 intentional grounding penalties are abysmal. 1 penalty's not good, 2 penalties is really bad, and 3, something's wrong. And, I said last week it was hard to blame because of the offensive line. You know what? I'm done making excuses for him also. It's really on him at this point. For him to go on Mike Francesa yesterday and say he's playing well, your team's 0-5. You're not playing well. You're not doing well. You take your team out of games. When Tom Coughlin goes out there and says, that pick you threw, you can't do that anymore, Tom Coughlin doesn't call out his players in the press like that.
No.
He called you out, Eli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm going to take the Bears in this one. I chose against the Giants again. At least I chose against them tonight. The Bears are going to win. You're going into Soldier Field. That's a tough place to play. The last time the Giants ever went into someone else's stadium and as the underdog and performed well was playoffs in Lambeau Field.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to be a repeat the way they're playing this year. I don't know what the spread is on this game.
I don't either.
Okay, well, the Bears are going to win. Okay, plain and simple. What do you feel about that game?
I think the Bears are going to win. The Giants will go to 0-6. It's kind of sad.
They have 11 days off then.
Yeah, they do. And, maybe about that time the Giants can get their heads out of their asses and they can start to win some football games. Because you know what? There's still only 2 games back in the NFC. I was
just going to say that.
Which is pathetic.
Yep, exactly. I was going to say that, and that's not me being a Giants
Horribly
fan. That's me being a
pathetic.
realist. Yep.
The Cowboys, you know what? The Cowboys, the way they've played, they don't deserve to be 2-3. They deserve to be better. But, it's who you play. And, if they played any other team last week, they win. They beat any other team besides the Broncos. They just happen to be unlucky. The Eagles at 2-3, they're not good either. The Redskins, Jesus, I don't know what happened to them. Maybe last year was
RG3 is also nervous. He's playing scared. He's favoring his knee. He's not the RG3 that everybody is used to seeing. Even Dr. James Andrews, he approved him to go play and do what you want to go do. And he's not doing it. He's running around scared.
You tear your ACL and tell me you're not going to be scared the next time you go out there.
But a player that young, you look at what happened with Adrian Peterson, okay? You tell me he's running around scared.
Yes, but he's not. But Adrian Peterson has a different mindset. Adrian Peterson knows he's better than everybody else, and RG3 is trying to reinvent himself. Adrian Peterson cannot reinvent himself and be a productive runner. Because a runner's supposed to go upfield. If he starts running side to side, he's not going anywhere. RG3 is trying to make himself a passer as opposed to a dual threat like Michael Vick. And until Michael Vick got hurt on Sunday, he was having a great game.
Yeah.
When one of my leagues, someone started Michael Vick over Tom Brady, and I laughed at him. I was like, how can you start Michael Vick over Tom Brady? And,
I'll tell you how. It's called, you want to do this, you watch Michael Vick get hurt, you're going to throw in Foles, and look at that. He's going to throw 200 yards as a quarterback who hasn't played a game all year. 2 touchdowns. That's an impressive performance. Granted, it was against the Giants. Even still, that was a great performance by Foles.
It was. It was his best performance probably in the past 2 years. Nick Foles didn't look very good last year. Chip Kelly did not want any part of him this year, but, you can't get – what are you going to do with him?
I thought McCoy was actually going to run all over the Giants.
Never happened.
I really
46
thought that.
yards on 20 carries.
Yeah, I thought that was going to
Michael Vick did. Michael Vick did run all over them until he got hurt. 79 yards. He really had a great game. It's a shame he's going to be hurt. He's out in week 6. Hopefully he can come back in week 7 and do it and come back. But, let's go to the team that really matters in New York. The second place, New York Jets, 3-2, 1 game behind the Patriots, who, like I said at the beginning of the show, still hasn't looked good the entire season. And you know what? Patriots are 4-1. They could probably fall to 4-2 after playing the Saints this week. I think the Jets should beat these lowly Steelers. These Steelers are not the Steelers of old. And last year, even when the Steelers were doing well, the Jets still was able to come into Heinz Field and beat them. This game's actually at home, and the 0-4 Steelers have had no signs of life outside of Le'Veon Bell. Their receiving's been awful. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been good. Their defense has been brutal. They're missing James Harrison. And Geno Smith proved last week he could potentially be a good quarterback. I think the Jets are going to win this game.
Okay, now put it in this perspective. Geno Smith, rookie quarterback, obviously last night was greatest performance, obviously, since he's came into the league. You have Pittsburgh coming into New York, okay? Their mentality is going to be, we're playing against our rookie quarterback. We need to get to him. We know we're better than 0-4. We need to do something about this now. You really feel the Jets are going to beat the Steelers? I mean, the Steelers coming in, the way I look at it is this is their opportunity to really capitalize against a team that, yeah, they're 3-2, but they're still not really that great. This is where, their Jets defense is great. They're playing well. The fact of the matter, their offense is not playing well. They're really not. They're out of the top 10 in every single category offensively. This is exactly where Pittsburgh can totally capitalize if Ben Roethlisberger gets his game together.
I'm not down that, but I mean, to what you first said about Pittsburgh coming in saying they're facing a rookie quarterback. Last night, Geno Smith and the Jets went into Atlanta and faced a 1-3 team that was facing a rookie quarterback, and they needed to win. And Atlanta was on their home turf.
Hang on, I gotta get the shoe out of my mouth. Hang on a second here. Thank you.
And Geno Smith still led a game-winning drive down the field.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Mark Sanchez in his first season as a Jets quarterback when he had all those fourth quarter comebacks, one against the Texans, the one against did against the Colts, and the first round of the playoffs, did against the Patriots.
Well, you mentioned the Falcons again. I'm not going to bring them back into play right now. The show's almost coming to a close here. Last night's loss in Atlanta was actually the first time Matt Ryan has ever lost back-to-back home games since he came into the league. I can just imagine what's going on with the media down there. If you open up a newspaper in Atlanta right now, it's just pandemonium. It really is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough down there for a few days. Atlanta's actually on their bye this week, so they're going to be thinking about this one for a long time. But, I think the Jets can go to 4-2 next week. And, depending on, they could be tied for first place, which who in New York would have thought that would have been happening at the 6-week mark of the season?
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I'm pretty sure everyone in New York thought if any team was going to be 4-2 at this point, it would have been the Giants. But
that's false.
We're getting close to the end. I think it's about time that we're going to have Jimmy do his little rant. But before that, I think we got a little song for him.
Just face it, you're wrong, and you can't take it. I'm better than you ever thought you could be. Yeah, right.
But, so, Jimmy, what do you have to rant about today?
I do have to rant about your beloved Jets.
All right, let's.
All right,
what do you got to say about
Geno Smith, he is proving to be better than I expected, and he's definitely proven to be what people thought he was going to be. He is completing 60% of his passes. He does have 8 interceptions and 2 fumbles. He did not change that number last night, which was great for him. Coming to New York, Mark Sanchez did get that surgery finally, so that's out of the way. Geno's going to be there for the rest of the year. But you got to look at the Jets now. They did beat certain teams like the Bills. Now we can say Atlanta, although I did say they're probably better than a 1-4 team, but now they are a 1-4 team. They did beat the Bills, the Falcons, Tampa Bay. Their defense is great, but their offense is abysmal. All of you Jets fans need to freaking relax. Just relax already. Enjoy it. They're 3-2. That's great. You're not used to a winning season this early, and take away those 2 stupid AFC championship games. I don't care about that. Your next 4 games, going against Pittsburgh, New England, Cincinnati, New Orleans, you really think you're going to come out 2-2 with that? I don't think that at all. I'm thinking you're probably going to be at least 1-3. This is where I'm going to take Pittsburgh as the upset over the Jets. I'm going to say you're going to go 0-4 in these next 4 games. After that, you're looking at Buffalo again. You might come away with the win after that, especially now that Manuel is out for a while as the quarterback for the Bills. After that, you are playing Baltimore. Baltimore's defense hasn't been the same, but, Flacco is Flacco, and he's going to get those yards back up on your defense. And I think that's going to drop your defensive ratings down. You got to calm down. You got to relax. Stop overreacting. Please, let it go already.
So you don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs this year?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No, not at all.
Why not?
The Giants will.
Oh, God. Wow. Oh, you know what?
There's that.
I take back everything I said with that song. You're not right. You're just wrong. But before I forget, check us out on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Jimmys Rants. After the show, if you want to watch us again, you can go to youtube.com/Jimmys Rants. And always, during the week, you can listen to Jimmy Rant at twitter.com/Jimmys Rants. It's been a great show tonight. Good week 2. Next week, we'll probably have some more baseball playoffs, some more football. We'll be talking about that Jets victory and another Giants loss. And, of course, some hockey and maybe even getting into basketball. But tonight, I'm Steve. Sitting next to me is Jimmy. You've listened to another episode of the Weekly Rants, and have a good night.
Take care, buddy.
To all my friends, present, past and beyond, especially those who weren't with us too long. Life is the most precious thing you can lose. While you were here, the fun was never ending. Life a minute was only